So for everybody watching, we can just give a little background, how we connected and how I sold you all those postcards, which you said you're starting to make some back. What did you say you have maybe 54,900 left, or have you gotten more into it?
Yeah, I just grab a box and I fill them out, and I'm keeping track because I put a code on the end of the title. So when it sells, I
hmm
know to go update the spread. It's just a simple spreadsheet, how many sold and a number. And I think I'm at 189, something like that, out of the 4,400 dollars it cost me to go down and get them and buy them from you. So, but I figure I would probably get half the money back by the end of the year, and then the other half will be the next year. But the cards are just absolutely amazing and well kept. I mean, you did 75% of the work.
hmm Yeah,
So, but
whoever's cards though, or they must have done a great job keeping them, it sounds like.
most of them are posted and most of them are divided back down to white borders and linens. I don't see a lot of just plain chromes or stuff. So very,
hmm
very well done.
And for anybody watching that hasn't seen that, they can go watch that video on your channel, and I'll put the link in the description or wherever.
Hmm.
But when you visited, I mentioned a website, and I'm the co-founder of EphemeraSearch.com. And I think it's something that postcard sellers don't think about at all, but they could be missing out on. So I wanted to talk to you, Mark, a little bit about the back of postcards and try to convince you that you should care about the back of postcards. So, like I said, I'm the co-founder of Ephemera Search, and we digitize and archive old postcards. The founder, AJ, I connected with her last year. I just happened to see one of her posts in a Facebook group, and she's a genealogist. She doesn't really care about postcards except for all the family history that can be found on the back. And I saw her post in a postcard group about her website, and I checked it out, and I thought it was really cool that nobody had been doing that, or nobody has done that. Because I've done a little bit of research on my family tree, and I have an account on Ancestry and a little bit of it built out. And the stuff they have on there is just birth records, death records, military records. But you don't find any like correspondence to or from family members unless, it's somebody that uploads it to their own family tree. So I loved her idea, and I started contributing scans of all of the postcards that I sell and that I collect. So those are all online in her database. But they're making it searchable by name, address, message, town. So you can go and you can search for really anything that you're interested in for your small town, for your grandma or grandpa, or any other relatives that you think you could find.
So when you say digitize, it's kind of optical character recognition with the written on the back.
So everything we're digitizing now is 100% by hand, but we're looking into different options because it's going to be possible, if it's not already, to do it all machine based. I think
Hmm.
that's one thing that computers can do really well. And either we have a human check it, be like, yeah, that makes sense and that looks right, or the computer just put like a percent chance, like percent accuracy. But we already have, she wrote a program, and she is super smart. She built the entire website herself with her partner Jerome. But she wrote a program on the website that can identify a posted versus unposted card. So we already have that, and then she's working on getting it to where it's all more automated.
Okay.
But we're working on right now, and she didn't understand or didn't recognize the possibilities that could come from partnering with sellers. So she's been geared mainly towards attracting more users to the site and just people who are interested in genealogy. And when I had a call with her for the first time, I said, "Hey, why aren't you working with postcard sellers more? Because they have thousands or tens of thousands of postcard scans that they're not really doing anything with. They're just using them to list on eBay or wherever they sell." But she thought that was a great opportunity, and I do too. So we don't have integration with eBay working yet, but it's something that we're looking into, see how we can make it work the best, how to do it right, and whatnot. But the idea is that you have your store. Mark, you're on eBay. You list everything on eBay now. And we would take those images, just scrape them directly from eBay so you don't have to upload anything. You don't have to worry about our website. You just keep listing postcards like you normally do. And then we import those and transcribe the backs and make them searchable. So basically, your entire inventory for sale is now searchable by all the genealogists that are searching for their family history. So you could have a greeting card that, like just a plain card with a rose on it, or like a birthday card that normally would take forever to sell. But if that was sent to somebody's grandmother or their grandfather, then that's like a highly valued card for them.
So you're talking about integration with eBay. You're not going to resell anything. You're just reading the card for information.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All we're doing.
if I go to your Ephemera Search site and I put in my name and it searches through and it finds something and I'm interested in that card, would I be able to click on that card and go back to eBay? Or
we're with the integration. eBay has affiliate links, so that's how we would make money too. Is have if the card is available when somebody finds it, you could just click right there and go buy it on eBay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you talked about that, and I was like, okay, if I list a postcard, let's say this card right here, you're connected to me. I've approved for you to come in. And that's well, I think what you said is you would get approval from the buyer to grab it. You would take my front image, my back image, and just shove it into your system. It would read it and everything. And it doesn't do anything to my store. You're not reselling it. And then genealogy people say, oh, I want that card. Click on it. It goes back to this listing. And then they can look at it and see what the price is and sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the beauty of it is that sellers don't have to do anything different. They just keep listing on eBay like they've always been doing. And then if they want to partner with us, then we can make all their images available on Ephemera Search for people looking for their family history. And then they can get connected to that seller directly through eBay and purchase any cards that are available.
Yeah, I was thinking of something. When I currently do that on Pinterest, I share a link. It's kind of like sharing a link. I share it out to my Pinterest. I have about 10, 12,000 pins there. Now, if one of those cards sell, I used to go into Pinterest and take them off years ago. I just leave them up there. If they click on it, it ain't there anymore. But that's what I was putting it together is I share it on Pinterest. They see it, they click on it at Pinterest, they just go in and buy it. Pinterest doesn't get anything. They're not selling my product. They're just showing people on their site. So it's kind of the same fact, right? And pretty neat to see it come to fruition. And I floated this, Daniel, to some of the other sellers that I know. I just put out key things. Hey, I'm talking to Daniel, the Nashville guy I got the postcard from. Now I just say Daniel. They're associated with you. And I floated it. And actually, I think yesterday, someone said, hey, did you ever do that video with Daniel yet? And then another person says, yeah, when is that going to be done?
Oh, that's great.
So I wanted to see if there was any interest without giving a lot of information. And people were giving me smiley faces and stuff like that. So there is an interest for it in the postcard sellers.
Yeah. And people, it's not like genealogists aren't interested in postcards now, but there's probably, if anybody's ever bought a postcard from your store that's sent to or from a family member, they just probably happen to stumble across it accidentally, because there's no way for them to find it on eBay, because these genealogists, they would search on eBay and buy cards sent to or from family members if it were possible, but they can't just look through 41,000 cards and hope that they find the needle in the haystack for their family member. But what this would do, I just think it's has so much potential to not only help genealogists find their family history, but also help sellers reach an entirely new market of people that would be interested in their postcards for basically entirely different reasons that they sell them for now.
Yeah, one of the things, the goals of this video me and Daniel talked is he wanted to, get me to look at the back of the cards more because I'm a postcard seller. I look more on this. I'm not really a stamp guy and stuff like that, not this. And even just talking more about it today, just so far what we've done is getting me there. It would be interesting. Like this is from Miss Flora Smith, Newton, somewhere, Reno. So if I was looking, if that was my mother's mother, and I typed that in and I put Reno, and you guys could bring up this card and it's got her name on it, and they could click on it and go over to the store, you can almost put your own price on it.
Exactly. It makes cards that would normally be cards that you might not even list or that you take to the flea market, in your case, Mark. But it makes those like valuable cards for genealogists, and not only for them, but you can search by address, you can search by city or state. So I know a lot of people might not be interested in genealogy, but maybe they're interested in the history of their town. So they can just look up. And for these people, if you can't find, because for a lot of these small towns, you can't find that many postcards from the actual town that show views, but you can probably find cards that were sent to or from people that live in that town. So that's just another avenue for collectors to purchase cards from.
There is actually a collector in Australia that has one of the bigger collections of the town I grew up in.
Oh, wow. Do you know what his connection is to?
When I type in that town name, I've bought many cards from him.
Oh, wow.
I have a small little local collection and stuff, but I go Australia, and he told me that, yeah, he got a pack somehow. Somebody moved over there, and so postcards usually end up going back home. And there, so like this Reno one was canceled to somebody, then they moved back, and you get the collection one there. But it's interesting. Once in a great while, I will read one, and I get stuck in the rabbit hole looking at that and trying to figure out what they're doing, like the military ones, like writing home. Some of those might be the last message from that soldier to the family. And there's a lot of those franked cards, because they were free. They call them franked, and a lot of them were just written for soldiers to write real quick and send home. And a couple of them, I had one lady, one guy said, "Where did you get this postcard?" "That's to my mother."
Oh, wow.
And then another person just bought a card and paid priority shipping for a $5 card because it was taken from the back of his house in 1950s.
Oh, wow. That's so
It was just a Chrome card. So people are looking at other things, and they're searching, like you said, by towns, cities, towns, states, and names. But they can't go that deep, like you said.
Yeah, people are already searching for their own name, though. Because I have cards all the time that will sell to somebody and they won't be from that town or state at all, and be like, how did this person find this card, or what's their connection? But it'll have a name on it, like the name of the avenue will be the same as their last name or something like that.
Yeah.
So people are already looking.
Yeah, it takes you in a different way. I never even thought of that, what you said when you told me that. And just since then, I've been thinking about and what we've talked about, Ephemera Search. There's bill heads out there, there's bills, there's checks, there's other documentation, ledgers. But there's billions of these. So I just wonder what the mass will say about that. I think so far, who I've talked to and you've talked to said that, but I just wonder what the potential is, like you said, to get her site going and get those as many cards as possible digitized and searchable.
Oh, yeah. And we can, before I get into how people can help us out and what they can do if they're interested, let me actually show you the site and also everyone else who's watching, and show you how it works. And she built this entire website herself with her partner Jerome, but I just think it's so impressive that she could build this as someone who is not a coder or computer savvy. But let's say you want to search um, for your grandma. Let's say Miss Ida Smith. Type in here Ida Smith and see what we have. No results for Ida Smith. So let's say you just want to search for Smith and see if you have any other family members that might have sent postcards. All right, here now it's showing us all the results for Smith. So as you can see here, the cool thing is we have tags, we have language, and we're expanding the different search parameters, and we're trying to get it so you can just nail down exactly what you're looking for. And as we keep adding more and more content, then you'll be able to find more and more stuff. So you can see here, all I did was search for the surname Smith, and you can see all of the postcards that were sent to a Smith, or here we have Smithfield Street. But you know, you might be looking for a great Aunt Margaret, and you can see here where she was living, Plymouth, New Hampshire. But we have, yeah, everything here, and you can narrow it down pretty much as narrow as you want to search for. So you can see over here, there's collections, which are places, sorry, which are different addresses. Collections, you can search by a different user's cards. So for example, if you just want to search cards that I've uploaded to the site, you can click on Mailseum, and there's all of mine. If we add Mark, you'd be able to click on SM Postcards over here and see all the cards that Mark has available. But yeah, you can see here, this is a real photo postcard. I'll just go into this. And that's something we're working on too. So of course the focus is on the back of the card. And as you can see, that's the first thing we show you. And we have it rotated to where you can read it. Now this one just has a name, Jane Smith, 1909, Atlantic City. So that might be a little difficult for somebody to find. There might have been a few Jane Smiths at that time, but you can see we have the front here too. So we're working on not only messages, but there are so many real photos that are taken of family members and of family that are identified on the back. So, you know, this is a Jane Smith in Atlantic City in 1909. So if you have a relative, Jane Smith, that was in Atlantic City around that time, you can probably identify this as her if you have any other pictures of her. But that's how you search for stuff. And you can do that if you want to look for a family member, you search like I just showed you by surname. Or if you just want to explore, sometimes it's just interesting to read the messages on the back of cards. You can just see a random postcard and it'll show you a random postcard back here. And rotate that here. But yeah, they can go through it if they just want to read and see postcards. You can go through as many as they like. Now, we do have, if you want to help us out, obviously, if you're just using the site and looking for family members, or just even looking at postcards for fun, that helps us out tremendously. But you can also help us transcribe the backs of cards. So you'll see this one here doesn't have a recipient. It doesn't have places, sender names, or a year. Now it is tagged with German. So it does have the language identified. But a lot of the cards we have do not currently have the sender's name or recipient's name identified. So you can help us out by transcribing the backs of cards. And you do have to have an account created to do that. But we're working on tracking some cool metrics too related to that will show like how many cards you transcribed, which ones you've looked at, which ones you've done, and just really cool stuff like that.
That's kind of like Wikipedia. They let people update.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
if you can, so if you get say 10,000 cards up there and you get people coming in transcribing and it grows and it grows and it's just exponential, pretty soon, instead of having 10 cards a month transcribed, you're going to have 100. Instead of 100, in 6 months, you can have 1,000. And then the question is how to get more cards for these people that are now transcribing.
Exactly. So we've done a lot of the work ourselves. We have a member of the team who goes around the country transcribing cards, or not transcribing, scanning cards. So she goes to postcard shows, antique stores, wherever anybody might have postcards, she goes and she offers to scan them for free and put them online. And a lot of people just say, yeah, I would love that, because they might have just been sitting in a box, or they haven't really been used or touched in years. So having us digitize them for them for free and get them online really helps them out a ton. But yeah, you can see here, these are some of the stats for our website. So you can see the top users here who are editing and adding details to images. And this is really neat. So we have our breakdown by year. This is the amount of postcards we have on the website by year. So you can see the majority, of course, near the golden age of postcards around 1909, 1910. The majority of the cards on our website right now are English. So right now we have about 20,000 cards on the website. And you can see here, it shows how many of them are identified by name, identified by place, identified by date, and have the language identified. So yeah, 22,000 cards in our collection. Like I said, we have a ton that we haven't scanned. We have a lot that we still have to upload. So we have a lot of content continuously going up to the website. So if you look one day and we don't have something, you might look the next day and we do have something. But in addition to all the content that we're getting, we would love to have your content as well. So if you're a seller and you're selling on eBay or Hip or Etsy, just contact us. You can reach me if you want to reach out directly, Daniel@EphemeraSearch.com. And we'll put that in the description or the comments as well. But you can, if you'd like to share your postcards, just email me and we'll get that set up for you. And we can have all of your postcards online. Now, if you're not a postcard seller and you don't have anything online, maybe you don't even have a scanner, we're happy to work with you too to see when we can get to you, or if we have somebody near you that can scan those cards and get them online. If you're a collector and you already have scans, we would love to have them as well. Now, I know one thing I wanted to make clear, because I know a lot of people would be hesitant about just sharing scans of their postcards, because it's valuable data. I mean, I'm sure you've seen these sellers on eBay, Mark, that just scrape the images from eBay and then start reselling copies of them. So it is a problem with postcard images that get taken. But yeah, we obviously don't resell cards. We don't resell the images of postcards. We're in the business of transcribing the back for genealogists. So whenever you go to a postcard, the first thing you'll see is the back.
Yeah, when you say like to have the cards from the seller stuff, it's only posted with writing?
Yeah, that's right. So we're only interested in, I shouldn't say only interested in posted cards. We are interested in some real photos of like family members and people, since those can have genealogical information. But yeah, we're mostly interested in posted cards or cards that have writing on the back. And if you want to share your cards with us, you don't need to sort through them and pick out all the ones that are written or posted. We do that for you. So you would just share all of your cards. We would keep the written ones and posted ones, and then the ones that were unposted or printed postcards that we would not have on the website.
So I have 3,000 postcards right now scanned into my computer.
That's
Would
great. Yeah.
would it be easier to put it on a disc and send it to you?
So yeah, we can get postcards anyway. We're really flexible in how we work with people. So you can send us a USB, burn them to a CD drive. Obviously, the easiest, if you have faster internet, is to upload them all to a shared folder on Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. and we can just download them all digitally. But yeah, we are happy to take them any way that we can get them. So analog,
Okay.
USB, digitally.
Yeah, because I scan thousands a month, and I'm way ahead on scanning right now. I probably have, I'd say 3 to 5 thousand scanned. Um, and I'm not worried about my pictures being redone out there and stuff. It's just part of the deal with eBay.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out there, but I have those in there, and I was just thinking if I upload those, how now you would take them on a DVD, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we could
Yeah,
take a really however you want to
or on a
get it to us.
little sand disk
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
stuff. So I was thinking about that, and because some people's internet don't have that much, and they don't have as much probably as I do. Some of the sellers do, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but posted cards, writing on the back, I think it's pretty neat, and it's still growing. How long has she been doing this?
She's been doing, I'll have to check with her to see the exact date she started, but I know she's been working on this project for almost a decade now. So it's been something she was a genealogist before had the idea for the website, but family history has always been an interest of hers. And then she had this idea for a while, and then a couple of years ago, worked on creating the site and getting the site online, and has really spent the last year or two heavily focusing on growing the site. So she's all the time going to postcard shows, genealogy conferences, just to meet new people and tell them about it. Because it's one of those, I think there's two types of ideas or products. There's ones that you have to work really hard to sell, and then there's ones that kind of just sell themselves. And I think this is in that second category because we found that most people, when they know or when they learn what the site does and how they can help, they get really excited about finding their family history or getting all their postcards online, and contributing in that way.
Or helping out transcribing? Now it's all volunteer, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, right now, it's all volunteer based and all transcription is human based. So we're just relying on our users to transcribe content right now. And that will change as we grow. Obviously, we're looking more towards digital or computer generated transcription in the future because it's just an easy thing that computers would probably be
And
able to do.
so so if something's written, and OCR nowadays, optical character recognition is pretty good. Um, there is, like you said, a percentage of, you know, positive or negative results, but it
Mhm.
would create a lot of the tags that you're doing manually.
Yeah,
It could
exactly.
pick out Peatone, Illinois, and say city Peatone, Illinois, because there's a comma, and then the zip code, the address, the street, the name of the person that's going. It would know address for sure.
Hmm.
But when it
And
gets
it
into
can
that
even,
German writing, that'd be neat to see.
oh yeah, yeah, it's actually advancing a lot quicker than we think. I don't know if you've ever done this, Mark, but I've used Google Lens
Yep.
to translate postcards, and I did it the other day. I don't know what language it was, but I know it wasn't Spanish. It was a different European language. It might have been German, but Google first of all, it identified all of the German characters, and then it translated it from German to English.
Hmm.
So yeah, this technology is advancing faster than we think, and I think it's going to be really exciting when our website is taking full advantage of it, and we're able to automate a lot of the more mundane processes
Hmm.
like transcribing each postcard.
Yeah, a lot of people like this research. I mean, you got researchers. Um, Me, I like reading it. I'll give the information anyway if they want to go in and do it. And there's researchers and people love to do that, I find. And for them to sit there and look at a postcard and just, it's fulfilling for them to be able to help somebody doing that, plus find out theirs. And I think allowing people to go in and transcribe once they have an account, that's a pretty cool idea. And I think down the road, that eBay integration, that'll be interesting to see how you guys pull that off. I'd like to watch that go through because I know they, like you said, you can screen scrape, or is there approvals needed? Because images are images.
Hmm.
But people want to know what's going on, I guess. And there's probably some human interaction plus some technical stuff like that. But in the end result, it just makes it better for everybody to find family members and instead of census records and all
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
truly like a win-win for sellers, for genealogists, for people that just like to look at postcards. But yeah, we're thinking ahead on how to integrate with eBay, and we've already asked some of the questions. Like one of the big questions I had for AJ was a lot of sellers do end and relist. So what happens when a seller ends all their listings?
I didn't want to go
And
there. I was going to leave that up to you.
exactly, and they do sell similar because that was obviously a big concern of mine. Is that just going to put 40,000 more postcards on the website, and it's just going to get like just more and more and more? And she's very confident that there's a way to identify it with the image. So as long as the image doesn't change, which sellers aren't uploading new images when they do end and relist, but she can have it to where it identifies the actual image of the card and checks in our database to see if that exists before adding it, which would help with duplicates. But yeah, we're thinking about all that stuff and how best to do it before we have it fully rolled out. We would just want to make sure that everything
Yeah,
is.
and that's where it would break the link back because it gets a new item number the way some people do it. So that's
Mm-hmm,
what happens at Pinterest with me. When a card sells, they click on it, it's not there anymore.
mm-hmm,
That's where I was getting
exactly.
there. So there's a reverse, that little reverse back, but getting there, um, there's growing pains with everything, and I think you guys are way ahead of the game on this. Uh, it's interesting, and plus you have something to show. It's working right now.
Mm-hmm.
You just need more people to help out, more people to get interested, and it'll just grow.
Yeah, exactly. So if after hearing all this, if you're interested in helping out, going to ephemerasearch.com is a great first step. If you just want to look at postcards, totally fine. You probably want to search for your family members. You can look those up by location or name. And then if you really want to help us out, you can transcribe the backs of postcards. And I know there are tons of people that just enjoy doing things like that. I
Mhm.
know there's the group on Facebook that does unidentified real photos.
Oh man, they're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, they are the best, and they don't get anything for doing that. They just
No.
enjoy looking at the images, and it's kind of like a detective, being a detective.
It's their
Um,
superhero power. Their super.
yeah.
It is. I swear, I've watched them take a water tower in a field, and they were able to identify it with just a little bit of information where that field was and where and that tower was still there.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought I was getting good at doing some myself because I had a newspapers.com subscription and I could reverse image search. And I thought, all right, well, I'm pretty good, but I am nowhere near as good as they are in the Facebook group. I don't know how they do it with some of them.
No.
Uh, but that's something also that we've talked about adding in the future as, I mean, everybody's been hearing about like AI and computer stuff recently, but I think that is something that can potentially be an opportunity in the future if you have a real photo postcard, just using AI to help identify the people in that and the places in it. So even if you have a photo of somebody and you don't know who it is, it could potentially be identified just by their facial recognition.
I so it's called
Hmm.
EphemeraSearch.com.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to put obviously links on screen or in the description
Mhm.
wherever we need them. But yeah, ephemerasearch.com. And if you're a seller or if you have a collection and you either have scans or you want to know how to scan them and get them to us, email me at daniel@ephemerasearch.com. If you have a lot, if you just have a few or a smaller collection, you can actually create an account on the website and upload them there yourself. So yeah, you can upload as many as you want, but we say for the larger collections or for the sellers, you're probably not going to want to upload them one one by one on the website. So feel free to email me.
Yeah, and I'll put a link out there and talk about it on the channel as well. And I think it's exponentially going to grow.
Hmm.
Um, because like I said, 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 12 to 16 to 32. I'd be interesting to watch the graphs and how it grows. I
Oh
think you'll
yeah.
get a little uplift, cut down, little valleys, but it'll be interesting to see something from the ground. And and I know I've talked about it to other people, and they're interested in seeing it as well. So
Yeah, and we have all the stats on our website that are updated in real time. So you can see our progress too of the percentage that are transcribed, the number that we have uploaded. So you can watch with us as we grow. But yeah, this is when I first heard of the site, I immediately thought that there was a huge opportunity there for sellers because other postcard sites just aren't, or other reselling sites just aren't that great for postcard sellers, at least in the US. As I know, there's Delcamp, there's Hip Postcard, there's Etsy, but a lot of sellers are moving away from those and towards eBay. And this is something, it's not another postcard store, but it's a way to reach an entirely new market of buyers without having to do any extra work. So you just keep doing what you're doing on eBay. You let us know that you want all your postcards on Ephemera Search, and then we take care of the rest. So yeah, I think it's could be really powerful for sellers.
yeah, I think if you can get it, even if you can't get the sync across and they send it over, um, yeah, automation would be the best, I think, and stuff. But see, that's what I did for a living. Is in my mind, I got all these boards, whiteboards going. What if, like you said, the sell and relist. That's a what if. How are we going to deal with that? That number one, and so there's a lot to it. And if it's volunteer, it just drags out the time a little bit more. I mean, it's not a full-time job for people. But the more people you get in there, transcribing, if they're good at it, or learning from it, they can work with other people and get more information. It's going to grow fast. I think once it catches on. And so I know some people that are sellers, they're real big into researching. And there's others that are, they're just selling the front of the card. You asked me if I'm interested in the back of the card a little bit more. Yes. It does interest me. It makes me want to go in there and help out with the transcribing. I wouldn't know how to read some of the stuff, but I know enough about the cancels, the dates. I can read the name Smith on there, put some tags in there and help out in those things and become I probably won't be the top transcriber. I would be someone that's, hey, I got time here right now. I'm going to go in and I feel like doing stop listing and doing this other stuff. I got something else to play with right now and watch it grow and be a part,
absolutely.
And be a part of it.
And you can see, like, if somebody's looking at a card, they could see that you transcribed it. So that's something that's really cool that you could directly know that you helped this person find their family member. But yeah, I was never really interested in the back of cards either until I discovered the site. But now that I am so into it, I'll read, if I can read a message on the back, I'll usually read it. And I saw one the other day. It was such an interesting card. It was just a greeting card, but the message on the front was, it's like, I know I've haven't made you laugh as often as I should, and I know I haven't loved you as much as I should, but I know that you're always happy to hear from your boy. And it's like, wow, what a strange message for a postcard. And then on the back, the message is from a man who just got married. And I looked him up on Ancestry. This was his second marriage. But he was writing his parents to let him know that he had just gotten married. And obviously they didn't come to the wedding, or they didn't approve of the wedding. So he said, just wanted to let you know that I was married yesterday at 11 a.m. Please feel free to visit anytime. But I just thought it was so heartbreaking, the card that he sent to his parents. And it looks like he married a girl from his hometown in about 1903 or something, and then got remarried in Houston around 1911. But the stories that you can uncover with postcards through the message on the back are just amazing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like I said, I look at probably the technical side of it and the process and procedures you guys are going through and coordinations. But just the information is priceless for people.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm just on the side of getting people in the door, and I don't have to worry about all the back end and stuff like that. But yeah, AJ, she is way smarter than me, and she's thought of things that I haven't even thought of yet. So I'm excited to see how we integrate with eBay and with AI and with everything else that we're planning. But Mark, it was so good talking to you, and I'm so glad that I could get you interested in the back of the card.
Mhm. You'll see me up
Now,
there. I'll talk to you again. Expect some disc. We'll come up with a method to do it because I don't want to run all my bandwidth up either.
mhm,
Uh, it because I do a lot, and I do have 55,000 postcards sitting here.
mhm. Yeah, if we
So,
could get those 55,000 online. Yeah,
oh,
she was.
and actually, these cards that I got from you, Dan, these are the 19. A lot of these are 1900s,
Mhm,
early 1900s and 1920, 1930s. I mean, just look at the information on that one, and this would be Highland Lake in Connecticut. So could be they walked on that path one day when they were young,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
or someone fell in the lake and was swimming or something. You know, you just never. You know, I pick up local cards and I read the back of those about the
Mhm,
courthouse, about things that happened in the 1920s, how it looked back then, or how it looked just 30 years ago in my life is different than it does today.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, it's really neat to see how things have changed throughout the years. And one video, it might be out by the time this video comes out. I'm not sure, but I did a before and after video of Athens, Georgia, my hometown. And it's one of the places that I collect. So I had a lot of images, and I did a before and after. And I don't live in Athens anymore, unfortunately. So I had to pay a photographer to take pictures of these before and after places. And she did a phenomenal job. All I gave her was the postcard images and the location. And she lined up the shots almost exactly how they looked
oh,
in
cool.
the postcards. But that video might be out by the time this one goes out. But I recorded that one last weekend.
Yeah, I did some of those shorts on my channel where I did the before
I've
and
seen
after
those.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I love things like that.
yeah, they didn't really take off that much, and I was getting into long format more. So I'll probably do some more, but me and my wife would had a blast walking around. I had a whole bunch of Florida ones, but trying to line them up just right.
Hmm.
The tree, and there was no tree there before,
Hmm.
or now
And
there's a parking lot.
some look so different that it's hard to even know where it used to be at.
A lot of stuff's parking lots or whatever.
But yeah, I bet if you did like a full length video of your area in Illinois and did a before and after, I think people would love that. But yeah, I love the short ones that you do too, showing before and
Yeah.
after the courthouse and the other ones.
Yeah, I was stopped on the street. Why are you taking pictures? And I looked at the guy and I said, let me see how I can explain this. It took 5 minutes. So taking pictures of public buildings, people get nervous down here.
Yeah.
So, so I was next to the courthouse and the jail, so I was safe. I wasn't
Yeah, I don't
great
know what I
escape.
would think. They're scoping out the courthouse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think this is great, Daniel. I think it's groundbreaking and see where it goes. And uh, you got me interested.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Mark. And thank you everyone for watching. And if you decide to help us out in any way, special thank you to you.